Bless up, bless up. You already know what's up. Let's make it that we go about challenging ourselves in all aspects of life. Now, I got a question in regards to this little fad that I see going on. Let's say somebody approached you with the idea of becoming let me go about giving a backdrop. One of the biggest fads going on in America right now is the concepts of sister wives, and it's a growing fad in regards to people experimenting or diving into being a sister wife. So the question that I pose to you in this manner is, let's say you are approached with the idea of being a sister wife, and for the dudes out there, to having multiple wives, let it be under houses, and everybody coming to an understanding in regards to going forth in life. So, what would be intriguing about it that you would consider becoming a sister wife? And would it be something fascinating in regards to having multiple wives? But along that note, one has to go about realizing that you're dealing with different personalities, different attitudes, and by definition, human beings are very jealous. So, would it be a hierarchy in what you say go, or would everybody be allowed to go about voicing their opinion on how they feel about what's going on in that relationship, in that marriage, I should say? See, these are some of the things that we need to go about asking ourselves. Everything looks good and peaches from the outside, but when we go about entertaining some of these things, we come to realize that it's not as peaches as it looks. It's not as easy as it seems, because men, they envision this utopia as having multiple wives and so forth. But you being a man, would you be able to uphold all of those houses, and would you be able to satisfy all of those women? Because you have to remember, everybody have their own desires, wants, and needs. Some desire and want more than others. And let it be that when you go about looking at life and you come to see that it is more demanding in regards to how things are going, then you have to ask yourself, would I be able to satisfy 10 women And if you're a woman, would you be willing to go about sharing your husband with other women? Because everybody say they have an understanding at the inception of something. But how would you feel if one wife is being shown more attention than you? Would it be okay? Would you be understanding in the matters of, I see what's going on, so I am okay with her getting the attention right now? Would you go about sacrificing your feelings? Would you go about putting yourself last for the greater good? Because in a communal aspect, we have to remember, sacrifices must be made. And making sacrifices such as these, ask yourself, would you have the temperament to dealing with issues from 10 different personalities and having to come up with resolutions to go about addressing all of these things? Because it seems fine, it seems dandy, but everybody needs something, everybody wants something. And if you're in a relationship with someone, giving them that base of stability, let it be emotional, sexual, financial, then how could you go about entertaining something along that line? And when we come to realize a lot of things that we go about entertaining is because we don't go about having the full understanding, you see. When we get that full understanding, we'll realize that even if I wanted to, I can't handle that. Because that is going to go about robbing me of time for myself. And make it so that you go about putting yourself in a situation that brings forth comfort, that brings forth that level of understanding, that will go about giving you that peace of mind in order to go about being productive in that relationship. Because somebody's feelings gonna get hurt. And when somebody's feelings get hurt, is everybody else gonna be understanding and why that person feels that way? You see, it's a facade that leads to nowhere. And then
I got a pre-check.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm doing today right now. Yeah, so that's why. Thanks for the update there, little co-pilot. So that's why it's more along the notion of just because it seems fun, that don't mean it's gonna be fun. Because certain things are more demanding in all aspects of life. It'll test your will. It'll test your endurance. It will go about testing what kind of person you are. And in testing what kind of person you are, it will more or less go about sucking the life out of you. Now, I'm not saying that there's not people out there who can go about sustaining their sister wives and having one husband or 10 wives. I'm not saying it's not possible. The only thing I'm asking you, would you go about doing it? Because what's good for somebody else may not be good for you. So even within that, when we find ourselves in a predicament or a situation, or we're being approached in regards to joining or partaking or participating in something that brings a certain level of demand. If you cannot go about meeting each and every woman's demand, don't do it. Because you're setting yourself up for failure. And in setting yourself up for failure, why do something if you know the outcome is going to be negative? Find something else to do with your time. And just because everybody else is going in that direction, it's okay to sit on the sidelines at times. It's okay. Let them go and do what they do. Because if it's not something that you can go about upholding, sustaining, and developing, then you just gonna have people turn around hating you at the end. And bitterness is something that a lot of hurt come to go about holding on to. Because a person will leave us that everybody has an understanding until that understanding is not going about being met. You see, desires and needs are things that go about promoting having us engaging in things, because a need is something in which it's to go about sustaining life. A desire is only a want. Now, if it's something that you want, we got to go about asking ourselves, why is it that I want that? Why is it that I believe I would do good in that? Now, a need, there's the basic essentials that we all need in life. So if it's not something that is going about fulfilling a need in order for you to go about surviving, then you're just being selfish in all aspects of life. And in being selfish, it will only go about making it so that
my phone is too hot now.
You what?
My phone's too hot.
It's too hot? Oh, man.
I can feel it.
Okay, let it cool off a little bit then.
Huh?
Just turn it off and let it cool off. So yeah. So rather than people in turn going about hating you, it's best that you come to realize not everything you're gonna win in just because it sounds like a cool idea. And with it being a cool idea, the aspect that, yeah, the aspect that we go about holding on to when it comes to our selfish desires, it's an internal issue that we must go about addressing, because it's not cool for people to go about hating you. It's not cool for people to have animosity towards you. Bad energy produces worthless things. And if there's a great outcry towards you from 10 different people, it's going to be a while before you get yourself up, because that energy being produced. You turned it off? Oh. I thought it was still playing. Yeah. No, yours was playing. Okay, now it's off. Yeah, let it rest up a little bit. So, in that, just because certain things sound appealing, always go about questioning things. And dealing with human beings, you have to come to realize that everybody, we're all at different places in our lives at different times. And if one could not go about fulfilling the demands, then in turn, one will be hated for not. So be alright. If you gotta sit on the side, sit it out. It's okay. Not every day. Can't miss sitting on the sidelines. So I just wanted to go about asking y'all that if you had the option to be a sister wife, would you go about taking that option? And if you had an option to be the male and that sister, so that's my blessing. Y'all already know how we do. One.